Good morning, everybody. It is another beautiful day in paradise in good old North Carolina. The sun is out, there's not a cloud in the sky, and it is going to be a good day. Just off to work on a regular Wednesday morning. So this morning I'd like to talk about another important thing in managing your finances that a lot of people don't truly have a grasp for. In yesterday's video, I talked about, if you really want to build your wealth, the biggest secret is you really just got to get out there and do it. What's holding you back? You got to get out there, you got to do it, you got to fight, and you got to win. And the first thing to fighting and winning, you just have to go. You got to do it. You got to step out, and you just got to do it. It's as simple as that. But I do want to cover another topic today. What is really killing Americans, not just Americans really, but the entire world when it comes to managing their finances. And it's a simple concept. It's all about budgeting. Budgeting. That's right. So I don't know the exact statistics, but it's actually a surprising number of people who really don't budget out their finances. And that can be a huge problem because, when you really look at it, and if you're spending your money at the end of the month, you might be breaking even, but how much money could you be saving? Because at the end of the month, you realize, oh no, what have I spent all my money on? And then you might realize, well, I've spent $400 going out to eat this month. I spent, $600 on random stuff I don't need, impulse buying. And there's a lot of things like that if you don't pay attention, you really are throwing a lot of money away that you don't have to be. So setting a budget. The first thing you really ought to do is find out what you're spending now, okay? And then you got to find out what it's going to cost for you to live. So with me and my wife, that's the first thing we ever did. Before we even got married, we figured out about what our incomes were, and we put those together. And I did mine on a spreadsheet. So here's kind of how it went. I took our gross incomes, and let's just say, just for the roundness of numbers, okay, let's just say it was $100,000 a year, okay, or make it even easier, $8,000 a month, and that puts us right at that level of. They just give me some even numbers here to work with. So, of course, the government's going to want to take their share of it, which is going to be, and depending on a few things, let's just say 25%. So, you start your month with $8,000, and now you've got $6,000 because the government's taking 25%. Well, then you also want to do your 15% into retirement if you're a Dave Ramsey person and you're doing your 15%. So I don't know exactly what that is off the bat, but it's about $1,200. Then if you want to do like I do, we are Christians. We go to our local church and we give 10% to our church into the ministry there. So the 15% for retirement, 10% for church, and then 25% going to the government is a 50% take there. So that means immediately, before I even get a paycheck, 50% of it is already designated to go somewhere else. So that means that our income, statistically, is $4,000 a month, which is still a decent amount here to work with. So then that's where you've got to start considering if you've got a mortgage, if you got your rent, okay, that's got to come first because you got to have a place to stay. And your current place to stay is probably going to be the best situation unless you're just way over your head in what you own or what you're renting. Okay, the next thing you got to think about is food. And then after that, you got to think about your insurance in case somebody gets sick. You got to have some sort of coverage in case you get sick. By the way, I'm just now noticing, sorry about the massive glare. I'm at a stoplight and I'm not moving. And those are my loud squeaky brakes if you can't tell. There we go, we're moving. So after you got to have your roof, you got to have food, and you got to have insurance of some sort, okay? You got to cover the basics with what you've got. So once you've covered the basics, then you've got to start thinking about other things that you might need, but maybe could do without. So let's just say, you're gonna need some clothes, right? And every now and then, you're gonna need to get some new clothes, some new shoes, new shirts, anything, right? Wow, that sun really is not helping. Let me see if this will help some. That does not do much at all. So we'll just keep going with it. So the next thing you got to think about is the things that you like to do, things that that you use in your regular life. So if you like to go out to eat, how much are you going out to eat every month? How much are you going to spend? You know, do you like to give to people? If there's people around you in need, do you give gifts such as that? You got to think about that. You know, we even put a little bit of budget in every month for Christmas gifts for our families. So, you know, you got to be thinking about these things. Birthdays, holidays, all of these little aspects have to go in there. So we have this all written down on a spreadsheet. Okay, every budgeted dollar, we take our net income, put it on a sheet, and every single dollar is accounted for, whether it be for giving money, going out to eat, our groceries, clothing, gifts. We even have a little extra column just in case there's some sort of little emergency, and you know, we have to do something. If like a I don't know, if we just have to go out and buy something, if something breaks, you know, we have a little bit of an extra pot at the bottom of the sheet that is there for that reason, in case it's just a non-budgeted item that we just did not expect, or something that we didn't know was about to happen. It's kind of like an emergency fund prior to using the actual emergency fund. And of course, this is going to be for things, it doesn't have to be like a serious emergency. I mean, if all of a sudden you go out to eat, or you need to go, somebody invites you out to eat that you really want to go out to eat with, but you've already used your money, hey, let's just use the extra money at the end of the month that we've got, you know, and we can use that to our advantage. And that's kind of the idea. It's not necessarily like just for emergencies, but it's just kind of wiggle room money, so in case you need a little bit more money here this month, you know, and so on. So that's what we use that money for. That's how we use our budget. Now we also use that same Excel spreadsheet to calculate our incomes, our net worth, our 401ks, and as of yesterday, our investments. So yesterday we started our investment accounts, and this morning I actually spent about 20 minutes, give or take, reorganizing the budget so that it would fit according to our new investment strategy and what we're trying to do. And that's going to be a whole other discussion there about how I'm doing that, to maybe explain it to you. One thing I might do eventually is actually show you a picture of what our budget looks like. I'm not going to show you the actual numbers, but I will definitely show you kind of what the budget looks like on a spreadsheet. Now here's another thing that we do that maybe you should be mindful of if you're going to adapt this idea, this habit that I've done. So let's just say our utility bill generally runs between $115 to $130 a month right now. That's about what we're averaging. Now we budget $150 a month because we still haven't spent a full year in our apartment, so we don't know exactly what the warmer weather is going to be like. So we are expecting it to rise, and using our air conditioning a lot more. So we didn't use the heat a whole lot. Our building was generally well insulated, so we didn't use the heat much. But I'm just using this as an example. So say that it's a $150 budget for your utility bill, and you have a $130 bill that month. That means you got $20 left over. So what we do is we took that extra $20 that we didn't use, and we sort of put it to the side. So if maybe the next month our utility bill went $20 over, we can pull from that and have that $20 to pay towards our utility bill. So we do that for every single category, except for the definite knowns. Like our insurance is always going to be the same amount every month, and you know, your cell phone bill is going to be the same every month. You know, that stuff, we keep that as a zero balance. But everything else, you know, if we don't spend all that money, it goes over into a little side category. So if we ever go over in that category, we can pull from that account, or we can pull from that little fund there that we put to the side. Just one more idea. I'm going to have to shut the video off here pretty soon, but one other idea that we do is we round up our spending. So say we're at the grocery store and we spent $29.47. Okay, we will go ahead and round up to $30 and take that 53 cents that we rounded up with, and we put that again just to the side, and we use that money for like date money. And that's not just for our groceries, we use it for every single category. and for every single dollar that gets spent. So if it's whatever the dollar amount is, and then whatever the change is, we round up to the next dollar and take those cents, that change, and we just kind of put it to the side and save up for like a date or something like that. And so that's some things that I'd recommend doing. Pretty soon I'll try to get like a picture of our spreadsheet and just kind of show you exactly what we do and how we do it. So we use it for our day-to-day banking or day-to-day budgeting. We do it for our retirement accounts, for our investment accounts. We do it for tracking our pay, our net worth, everything. All of our finances are literally on this one document so that we can calculate exactly where we were. One of the things that we were asked about when we were doing this investment yesterday was our annual income and our net worth. And because I'm so comfortable with using this budget and with using this Excel sheet and tracking everything, I can immediately say annual income, $250,000, net worth $1.5 million. I mean, those are far off numbers, especially at the age of 23. I don't know many people my age that have that kind of figures, but we were able to just spit them right out because it was just information that we had so readily available and that we'd seen on such a regular basis that we knew. So that's kind of my idea about budgeting and how to use your money and how I best use it to with my best resources that I use for it. That way I have a hands-on approach. I know some people talk about the banks and how they have apps where they can do your budgeting for you. I just generally choose not to go that route. But anyway, that's all for today. Thanks guys. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. Have a good one.